Hello, welcome to Project Passion, the podcast made to inspire you to follow your passion and turn it into a successful business or career. We're not going to mess around this week, going to jump straight into it. This week I have Mark Beswick on the show. How's it going, man?
Yeah, very good, man. How are you?
I'm good, bro. Thank you for coming on the show, for starters. And obviously, I know a lot of people out there listening because they remember you as Darren from Waterloo Road, and they want to know what you're getting up to since then. They've been messaging me before the show. But for anyone who doesn't know who you are, do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Yeah, man, of course I can. So I'm from the greatest city in the world, Manchester. My name's Mark Beswick. I think you said Beswick there, and some people do get that wrong, but it's a silent W. It's a silent W, but I'll let you off. But yeah, I'm 25 years of age. Mark Beswick, actor, and musician, and yeah, man, all things good.
Nice. And if you don't follow Mark, all the links for his Instagram stuff will all be in the description. Be sure to go across and follow him. Some funny content on there, some good pictures, and if you check out the videos on it as well, some funny shit. Uh, so obviously, you're on talk about what would be your passion. So music, acting. What really got you started? Obviously, going back to the start when you were younger, what made you interested in get into the entertainment industry in that way?
Mm. Well, to be fair, I was quite like an active kid. So I was doing lots of like sport, football, boxing. But when I was in primary school, I don't know, I was just kind of like a confident kid, and I was always like the main part, in your little school shows and stuff like that. And then all the teachers was telling my mum. This was when I was only like, I must have been like 7 years of age. Get him into acting school. So I started off in performing arts. I did singing, dancing, and acting. And then I used to get the mick taken out of me on my football team, and I used to get all the little digs. But I pursued it, and I probably did performing arts, singing, dancing, acting right until I would have been around about 11. And then after that, I just kind of phased out into the singing and the dancing. I just enjoyed acting more, so I moved just straight into acting. And then after that, I was with a acting teacher called David Johnson. He's literally like the guy. He's literally my inspiration, like a father figure to me. And I was with him for 13 years. Um, and he taught me, most of the things that I know today. And I'm now currently at Manchester School of Acting, which is obviously in Manchester. And really, what got me into it, it was very, very organic. People saying I'm confident, my teachers, and then after that, I just absolutely loved it. I can't see myself doing anything else really.
Yeah. So when did you actually go through your GCSEs and A levels like any normal kid, but you were doing acting school on the side, or did you just completely scrap off school for the acting?
Yeah, well, it did disrupt a bit of school, but not too much. I think when I started really getting into actually getting roles, I started off in children's programs. I started off doing voiceovers for cartoons.
Some Mike the Knight.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, Mike the Knight. He's a brave young hero. So if you're young enough, you'll probably remember it, or if you've got youngins yourself, it's still playing now.
Catch it right now on YouTube. I checked that out this morning.
Nice. So you can catch it on YouTube as well. Yeah. So that was literally when I was round about. I think I started that in year 9. So I was constantly up and down to London, constantly doing that. But my school was very understanding, to be fair. I had a great drama teacher. They had a great drama unit, which was, first of all, why I chose that school in the first place. So he was quite supportive. The first part I actually had was on Waterloo Road, but that was in series 4. That was when I was only 13 years of age.
2009, you had a cameo role as Liam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was literally an extra, and I was doing extra work. And one of the producers come up to me and was like, "Look, I love the way you're reacting. We're going to give you a small part." And in acting, once you've got a part out there, that means you're open to Spotlight, which is an acting kind of platform where producers, casting directors can look at you, and once you get a speaking part within a program, that's it. The world's your oyster, and you can go on to bigger and better things. You can start to get voiceover agents. You can start to get a real agent that'll push you forward to proper roles, and that's where it kicked off for me.
Awesome. So would you say, obviously as a guy, acting was hard for you? Not so much getting into the industry, but more sort of like socially? Was there sort of issues there? Obviously, being a footballer, boxing, being a lad's lad, especially in Manchester, did you have sort of barriers, problems going through that?
I mean, no, I didn't. To be fair, I liked it. I liked the banter. I like the stick that I got because I'm confident in my abilities, and I knew that I was going to make it happen. I knew that football was a hobby. I knew that boxing was a hobby, and my acting was my career. And I was fully focused. No one could deter me and what I was going to achieve and what I was going to do. And the banter kind of, I don't know, it kind of motivated me even more to go and to go and get what I want. Yeah.
Awesome. How do you sort of like, what's your process? Because for someone that's never done acting, people that are looking to get into it, what's the process you would look to go through to start maybe getting a manager, maybe trying to get extra jobs, and then sort of trying to get speaking roles? What's the process for trying to get into that?
The process is jump straight into the deep end. You need to get yourself into an acting school, acting lessons, because acting lessons, you're surrounded by other actors, you're surrounded by people that want to do the same thing as you, and it pushes you. And you're getting up in front of, maybe, sometimes 30, 40 people at a time doing monologues, you're doing duologues, you're working together. But not only that, once you're in an acting school or once you're in a drama school, it tends to attract casting directors, producers. Your acting teacher can put you forward for stuff, and that's when you can start getting an agent. If you're just looking to kind of get into acting and get an agent, you're going to struggle. Do you know what I mean? You need to get into your acting school and prove yourself really before anything.
Yeah, and like you said, your bow has a lot of strings, like you said before the recording started. And acting isn't just one thing of what you do. Obviously, you've got your music and stuff like that as well. Uh, is there anything in particular you've done? Obviously, other than the advert for Manchester United, is there anything like that there that you've done? Highlighting what's the sort of process and getting into that as well?
In terms of adverts or music.
Yeah. In terms of adverts, well, I'm going to touch on the music anyway. So yeah, in terms of like the adverts and stuff you've done as well.
Well, yeah. To be fair, in terms of adverts, it's not. I don't know. It's not really a hierarchy what actors kind of aim towards, if you know what I mean, in terms of adverts. But when opportunities arise and you see certain adverts, I mean, I've turned down adverts in the past because I know it's going to disrupt my career and deter me off into a path where I don't want to be known as that guy. You have to choose adverts very carefully because they've got so much exposure. They've got social media, they've got the billboards, you've got TV, and they're constantly repeated. So you don't want it to be damaging. And adverts don't come up that often because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you can only really do an advert maybe like once every 4 years. Because what happens is when you do for big companies, you have a certain contract, which means you can then advertise different companies. So every 4 years, once an opportunity comes along for an advert, you have to kind of pick it wisely. But the adverts that I've been in, have reflected well on myself. So yeah, I kind of just went for him in the end.
And obviously, the one you've got on your Instagram. So if anyone wants to go see it, check out his Instagram. But you done the Man United kit release with Pogba. What was that must, and as a United fan yourself, that must have been an awesome experience.
Oh my word! Honestly, like I'd never really get starstruck. Like that's just one of my things. Especially like working with quite big people within the industry. Sacha Baron Cohen, Michelle Keegan. All these big kind of stars, as you will. I just see them as kind of they're the same as me. We're in the same industry. We're all human beings at the end of the day. But when I did that advert, oh wow! Like I was completely starstruck. Like he is one of the greatest guys I've ever met in my life. Like he was unbelievably kind, really open, and playing football with him. And I'm a huge Manchester United fan, and that was just unbelievable. I mean, I didn't know who it was going to be. It was very like secretive, lucrative, and it was kind of like I don't know who it's going to be. And I was actually in the Lowry Hotel doing the kind of costume and whatnot, and they said to us, right, we're going to be honest, no posting it on social media, no doing anything, but we're going to tell you who it's going to be, who you're going to be filming with. And they said Paul Pogba, and I was just like, woo! Like, yeah, I was absolutely buzzing, honestly, buzzing.
That's all. So obviously that must be up there with one of your best jobs so far. Like, if for personal reason, what has been your favorite job so far, or is that it?
Yeah, I don't, I can't, do you know what? I can't say that was my favourite job because it was literally like a couple of days filming. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I can't possibly say that was my favourite job. But um, in terms of like who I've met and the opportunity to work with Adidas and to work with Manchester United and Paul Pogba, that is just it's way up there. But I think, of course, my favourite job has to be Waterloo Road, because it was stretched over such a long period of time. And you know, I got that when I was 18, and I grew up on the show. You know, and it taught me so much about life, friendships, the industry, and yeah, I mean, Waterloo Road has to be my favourite job.
so what would your dream job be? That's probably a hard question, but like, TV, movie, what sort of genre? What would be a Mark Beswick favorite role to have?
It is a difficult question, but I think I've always known. To be fair, it's just comedy. That is me. Do you know what I mean? That's comedy. That's where that comes very natural. That's where I feel at home and I come alive. So, long-standing sitcoms, and obviously, films would be, the step up. That would be obviously what any actor aims for.
Yeah, of course. So you're not going to be running about wielding guns and shooting action movies anytime soon.
Me, I don't think so, mate. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't take me seriously.
Awesome. So I don't want to ask you who the best person you've worked with is. Someone asked me to ask, but I don't want to ask you that because I feel like that's a pretty bad question to ask.
The best person I've probably worked with in terms of just watching how they work, it probably has to be Sacha Baron Cohen, because the way that he operates and the way that he works is absolutely unreal. Like, one scene will literally take him about an hour and a half, because he has so much improvisational skills. It's out of this world. Like, he literally has like two people, like a producer and literally one of his co-directors, who's not the actual director, just constantly shouting stuff at him. He's not afraid to try new things. He'll laugh. He'll try whatever. And to be honest, that is his comedy is a bit it's a bit extreme for me. I like more subtle comedy, but in terms of a comedy star, he is probably one of the people that I've worked with that matches my aura the most, and who I probably look up to the most.
Yeah, of course. Well, look, obviously, as I said, a lot of you messaged me after I put up the guest for this week. And obviously, a lot of the questions were Waterloo Road, so we might as well just crack that egg while we're here and just get into it. So firstly, just what was that like for you? Obviously there's been a few like behind the scenes and there was a couple of things that got like put out at the time, but what was that like for you really just working on that set, especially such a big set with so many people involved?
Yeah, 100%. It was crazy. I mean, I don't know if anyone knows this story. People who are obviously close to me know the story, but obviously I mentioned I was in Waterloo Road when I was like 13, and that was filmed in Manchester, in Rochdale, literally not too far away from me. And with David Johnson, I had a fantastic casting director called Michelle Smith. She contacted me when I was like 17, and I got the audition for Waterloo Road, and it was literally out of 650 people. So there was auditions in Glasgow, there was auditions in Manchester, and there were auditions in London. So it was so open. You could have people that were Scottish, you could have people that was blah, blah, blah. But I actually didn't know it was filmed in Scotland at the time. So I went through the whole period of going through like 4 or 5 auditions. And eventually my agent said to me, you've got the part. We'll sort your accommodation out. We'll sort your travel out. So I'm like, huh?
What?
What do you mean? What do you mean travel? And she, oh, sorry, Mark, it's filmed in Scotland now. You're going to be moving. You're going to be moving to Scotland for about 2 years. So I was like, what? And that was on my 18th birthday. I literally moved out on my 18th birthday, and I spent my 18th birthday in a pub in Scotland on my own, drinking a Blue Wicked. And it was honestly so scary. It was. I was actually. I'm not a nervous guy. I never get nervous, but I was a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous. But when you get into it and you meet the cast and you meet, the producers, the directors, all the cast and the crew, like everyone was just so welcoming and so warm, and it was literally a big family because everyone was isolated. You wasn't just isolated; everybody was isolated out there. You was away from your home, you was away from your family, you was away from your friends. But we all had the same. We was all working toward the same end goal, really, just to make it as best show possible. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I never even thought about that actually, because obviously a lot of the cast aren't Scottish, aren't local. So were you all like rooming together in like a hotel, or what was that actually? I never even thought about that before. How you would have been living?
Yeah, so we literally lived in a block of apartments, literally in a town called Greenock, where it was actually filmed, which is I'd say round about 25 miles outside of Glasgow. Um, Now, if you can imagine if a big show on BBC One moved to your particular town, not even a city, a town, you are going to watch that show. So as you can imagine, it was literally absolutely crazy down there living in that town. I mean, we used to, go outside of our apartment. We used to go into the McDonald's. We used to get absolutely bombarded. You could not go anywhere without people noticing who you are. It was it was nuts, as you can imagine, like a small town. But we lived in like a little apartment, and it was literally like episode of Friends. Like you'd literally just be chilling, and someone would go boop and just pop their head in and in and out of each other's apartments. But we lived on the Clyde, which is obviously the big river flowing through Greenock, moving into parts of Glasgow. And it was incredible where we lived, absolutely incredible. We had the best time. And we was very social. We was all always doing stuff together. There was not one person in the cast that we didn't get on with.
Yeah. Did you room with someone then? Did you share an apartment with someone? And if so,
Yeah,
Joe Slater.
yeah, yeah. Joe Slater. Yeah. So at first, I actually shared with Joe Slater and Chris Chung.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot his name. I forgot his name on the show actually, but yeah, what a guy he is as well. What a guy. He was like literally our father figure whilst we was there. Me and Joe were just absolutely, Joe's 17, 16, I'm 18. We're both absolutely running wild in Scotland, and he kind of, tamed us down and shown us the way of the world, because literally I was living with my mum and dad, and now all of a sudden, I'm living at home, living on my own, sorry, so that was an experience in itself. And then after that, on the second series, it was just me and Joe. And, I love Joe to bits. He's like literally one of my best friends in the whole world. But literally, we was neck and neck at some point, Like, we was literally ready to fight each other. Especially because he's a Scoutser as well.
So that must have been as well, kind of like, especially at that age, it's kind of like university then. I mean, you got to live together, you could pop in and out of each other. You had to be there in the morning for class, well, for fucking production, but same sort of situation almost. Is that what it felt like for you?
Yeah, that's so weird that you say that, actually, because I was literally thinking about that the other week. I literally had the experience of university, but I got paid. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was learning on the job, because that was my first big role. So for me, that's the best experience you can have. I was working on set every single day. I was hitting my marks. I was learning to read all my scripts, to analyze my scripts. I was learning how to, alter my kind of theatric kind of style to, small, intimate TV. And then also I had the other side of it, where I had surrounded by all of my friends, and we'd have a good time, and we'd drink, not a lot, but quite a lot, but maybe too much, but sometimes maybe not, but a lot, but yeah. But no, that's what I'm saying. It was literally like university. Yeah, 100%.
Did you get to improv a lot? Because I'd say from watching your content you put online, like I'd say you'd be very, very good at the improv side. Did you get to do much of that?
Well, yeah, I did, to be fair. I mean, once the writers kind of seen me on set and kind of knew my style of acting, they used to be quite open, and my character kind of evolved and changed throughout the series. They kind of put more funny stuff and more kind of like comedic kind of words and kind of different stuff that matched me. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of me in Darren. So in terms of like just kind of going free, then yeah, I was given a lot more space than a lot of other people around me, which I was very fortunate for. But I mean, with in terms of film is very improvisational. You know, they've got a lot on the reel. It's bigger budgets, but TV, you know, you can't do too much improvisation because you've got to think about, you know, the cost of, you know, getting the scene done. You've got to do a certain amount of pages per day, otherwise it's going to be quite lengthy and it's going to, you know, it's going to cost quite a lot. But yeah, I did have quite a lot of input into the character, 100%.
And I mean, obviously your character was quite a comedic character, probably a lot of laugh value. But I mean, from someone that watched it at that age, you obviously you had quite a hard character as well. I mean, you had the part of the story where your mother in the show died, and you had that really, I'd say, probably hard scene for you as well. Because it was probably one of the first times you'd done something like that as well, especially on show. Uh, well, what was that like being able to transfer your character? Because you've done it so well as well, and looking back at it recently, it was such a good transition, a good character arc for yourself.
Yeah, it was. It was hard, to be fair. It definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. I'd never done anything like that. Anything. Like I'd done, like I obviously I grew up in musical theatre. I did loads of shows, you know, literally all around the UK. But in terms of an intimate crying scene on national TV, that was really hard. And there's two ways you can look at it. You can either be the character in that moment, um, and really feel what he is going through, or you can use something called emotional recall. Emotional recall basically means you use a part within your own life that's made you sad or it's made you cry, and then you use that in the scene. And I had to use emotional recall. I had to use something that was, you know, very dear to me, and that made me upset. And then once that happened, I fell into the role and the scene a lot more easy. And then I was Darren, and I was in that situation. But sometimes you need something to trigger emotion. You can't just bring on emotion. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah. So what's it like on production? I mean, do they give you like a couple of minutes beforehand to sort of get yourself in that mindset? Are you expected to just jump into it? Or are they a bit more, lenient and, take 5 minutes, get yourself prepared mentally and then just shoot?
Yeah, 100%. One, if it is an emotional scene, then they're a lot more lenient. They have to give you that time. They have to. If if you can't just jump straight into stuff like that. And at the end of the day, the director wants the best for his episode. And we don't know if you know, but Wartley Road we had a director for 2 episodes, and then the director would change every 2 episodes. So we'd have loads and loads and loads and loads of different directors coming in. So in terms of that director, he wants the best for his episodes. He wants to make it more the most authentic, and the most, a better episode that he possibly can. So ultimately, he needs to give actors space. He needs to give actors time. He needs to be considerate. And the director was a great guy called Rob. He was amazing. He gave me as much time as I wanted, and he was really good. To be fair, really good.
Awesome. What's the reason for that actually in the industry? Why did directors change like that every couple of episodes instead of just pulling one on for like a full season? Is it because different people bring different aspects to different sort of themes within that episode, the writing?
Well, yeah. To be fair, I think it is. I think it's always going to be Waterloo Road. It's always going to be a particular program, but directors have different ideas, and it might spin it off in a completely different direction, and they might go with that, or they might not. But in terms of Waterloo Road, it was kind of more logistical as well, because we had 2 teams. We had a blue team and had a red team. So a blue team would be filming episode 1 and 2, and then the red team would be filming 3 and 4, and then the blue team would be filming 5 and 6, and then and so on. So we had 2 directors working at one particular time, which was always interesting, because sometimes I would be in the middle of the woods filming for episode 2, and all of a sudden I'd have to get picked up and go and film for episode 4 in school, like in the same day.
Was it long days, Len? What was your sort of schedule like? Was it grinding for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm, I mean, I mean, they say things do, wear off, but it never felt like a job. It never felt like a job. It never does when I'm on set, but it was very, very long hours. A lot of people don't realise how long it actually is. I mean, we was getting picked up most of the time at probably not about 5:30, 5:45. You'd be in the makeup chair for probably about 6:30. You'd be them going to the costume possibly around about 7 o'clock, and then around about 7:30, that's when you're rehearsing. You're going through what you're going to be going through in the day, and then you'd literally get back around about 7 at night. You'd finish filming at 7 at night. So by the time you got home, probably be about 7:30, 8 o'clock. So it's more than 12 hours a day most of the time on traveling and getting back. And then when you get home, you have to learn your lines for the next day.
Yeah. So a lot of discipline as well, making sure you're getting up at that time, making sure you're ready to go. You're learning your lines as well, because that's obviously such a key part of it, and knowing what you're going in with the next day. So it is almost more than a full-time job at that point.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. There's a lot that goes into it, and especially being, an 18-year-old lad with, well, people won't mind me saying, I don't mind saying, with access to, a lot of money, and a lot of, distractions. It is a task. Do you know what I mean? You've got to make sure that you are ready and you stay disciplined. And I knew that was my career, so I never once messed up. Never once.
That's good though. Well, look, do you keep in contact with anyone else? Obviously, Joe Slater. Anyone else you keep in contact from back in that day?
Yeah, well, I keep in contact with Max, who he's doing very well at the moment. He's playing Ben Mitchell on EastEnders.
Yeah, that's who played Justin, if no one realised.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I keep in touch with Rebecca Craven as well. Rebecca Craven, she is one of one of the most amazing humans I have ever met in my life. She's like an auntie aunt, so everyone would always go to her with problems, and she's always open to speak emotionally, and also helping out with learning your lines. She won't mind me saying this either. She was literally like the mother of the group. She was the glue who held everyone together. And yeah, she is absolutely incredible. Every time I'm in London, I always, go and catch up and go and see her.
Yeah, because you guys had quite a good sort of chemistry on screen as well. Because you had a couple of storylines, obviously, were running parallel, but you seem to have a real chemistry together there.
Yeah, 100%. We was the bestest of friends ever on set. We all was. We all were. We all supported each other, but we all would make sure that first of all, we was all happy. That was the fundamental part, because if you're not happy, then your work's not going to be the same. So if there was any emotional problems, any personal problems, then we'd always make sure that we was there for each other. So we did build up a great relationship. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll wrap up the Waterloo Road bit here with a question I got asked today. I don't see it happening, but do you see any chance of a comeback or a reunion for the old Waterloo Road cast?
I mean, I don't think so, mate. I look about 27 now, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I thought that.
You won't see me in a skill uniform, but I don't know. I don't know, but realistically, I don't think so. You can probably see the pattern between series in the UK. 10 series is probably maximum, and that's enough. Shameless, just for instance, 10 series. 10 series is a lot. You need to make sure the storylines are organic, authentic, and if you go in for that amount of time, it's hard to kind of think of new stuff. Really, you can't really repeat what you've done. And for 10 years, there's room for other projects, not just the same old one really. So I doubt it, but you never know.
There you go. You got your answer then. Well, look, let's flip it because obviously Waterloo Road's not the only thing you've done in your life. So do you want to touch on your music? Obviously, you've just started your new business, Top Mark Mastering, mastering audio for people. Do you want to kind of explain what you're getting on with there, people? Anything you can talk about?
Yeah, well, to be fair, I've been doing music for years and years. I mean, I started off really falling in love with music when I was around about 18 years of age. coming back from Scotland on my breaks and going to Sankey's in Manchester, I fell in love with house music. And that was me. Literally, all I'd listen to is house music. And after that, I started putting on my own nights in Manchester, house events, and that I got into DJing. So I started to DJ all around Manchester, and then I got into producing my own music. And recently I took a technical course, which means I can mix and master my own music, which basically means it's compressing all the files, making files. So the major platforms will accept it, iTunes, Spotify, and it's a bit of a lengthy process, but the way that it impacts your music is just incredible. And I've been doing it commercially for quite some time, but now it's kind of public, so it's open to anyone who kind of needs it. And I've got a lot of time on my hands, too much at the moment, so yeah, I'm kind of getting into that. To be fair, I wasn't expecting the response I've had. I've had like quite a few customers already and absolutely loving the way that I do it, so I'm sure that will kind of kick off. I'm looking to kind of get the website going. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that will be with me for some time.
Awesome. So for anyone wanting, if you are a musician, I know we have a lot of music guests on, so there's a lot of musical people that listen. If you're out there and you're doing your own stuff, you're looking for someone to do your mastering, get in contact. Same as I always do, all links will be in the description. Go across, check out Top Mark Mastering. So what else are you doing within the sort of music sector? Anything else you got going on, or anything you're working on? If you're in terms of your DJing, anything like that?
Well, in terms of DJ, I don't really DJ anymore. I think what I'm also doing, my side is more production side, more producing. I've ghost produced for quite some time as well in terms of for other people. But in terms of like my own projects, I see it more of like a passion project, more so. Because what you tend to do is some people dibble and dabble in different stuff. And once you dibble and dabble, you're never really a master at one. So I tend to just stick to my acting. That's what I want to do. So I don't really indulge too much in that. But in terms of what I've been doing, like in my spare time as well, I've been writing quite a lot as well. So me and my friend Adam Jarvis, big him up. We've been working on a comedy drama, and we've just kind of finished that and sent it out to numerous kind of producers, and we've had the most amazing response back. So hopefully, we'll get the pilot episode out, and that will start moving as well.
Nice. Is that all hush hush, or is there any theme details you can drop?
Well, I can say a little bit what it's about. I can't really say the producer who's kind of involved, but it's basically called Music is the Answer. For short is MITA. Now it's basically about two guys who obviously the love for house music and the DJing and putting on their own nights, but ultimately bad stuff happens, to one of them, and they end up actually going to prison for some time. Now, once this guy comes out of prison, the other guy is not kind of on the same wavelength, but their friendship kind of reconnects and they re-engage with each other, and they try to make this house music thing happen again. And that's all they want to do. And relationships break down, relationships happen. There's a lot of drama in it, but it's very comedy orientated as well. And it's kind of their journey into and trying to make this, trying to become successful DJs. And it's all set in Manchester, and it's all set now. So yeah, it's class. It's class.
Awesome. So hopefully that'll be something for people to look out for then in the future from you.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Keep your eyes out for that, guys. Well, look, anything else you've got in your future? Anything else you're sort of looking to start making moves in? Obviously, acting. I know you guys probably can't talk a lot about any jobs you've got coming up, but anything in the pipeline?
Yeah, there is. I think we've had a little conversation about that in the next couple of weeks. I can't really kind of discuss that, but in terms of acting and projects coming up, it is very sporadic. I mean, 99% of actors are out of work at one time. So you never know what's going to be around the corner. You never know. It could all change tomorrow. It could all change in 2 years. All you've got to do is be the best that you can be, and when the opportunity comes, make sure you smash it. So in terms of acting, it just depends on the auditions that you get through and, you know, the offers that you get, really.
Yeah. So look, one thing as well we're starting to do on the podcast now is because we get a lot of messages and a lot of questions. I just want to put a listener question query to you, and just sort of from a personal point of view, what your opinion would be. So basically, this person said that, you know, they're 18, they've just turned 18, and they don't know what they want to do for the rest of their life, but everyone keeps telling them that they should know what they want to do at 18, and just what your opinion would be and any advice you can give to that person.
I think I'm the wrong person to ask. To be fair, I've always known what I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to know what I've wanted to do from a very, very, very young age. But I don't think it's anything to be worried about. I don't think it's anything to be scared or frightened of. If you haven't 18, I mean, that's young, man. That's young. I mean, you know, some people's careers don't start until, you know, mid 30s, you know, 40s, 50s. It depends on what your passion is. Do you know what I mean? If you can turn work passion into something that you can actually work and earn a living from, then ultimately that's what you want to go for. You have to take that risk. But I'd say jump straight into the deep end, try and do volunteer work first, you know, try and get an apprenticeship. I'd just jump straight into work rather than the other side. I mean, I know that's quite, I don't know, controversial. It's a bit controversial, but personally, I just think work straight away and getting that experience behind you is a lot better than maybe going to university. I don't know. That's a bit controversial, but that's my opinion.
My opinion on that would be, like I know I've said it before numerous times, but you shouldn't know what you want to do at 18. You know, if you're lucky enough, like a lot of people are, you know, they know what they want to do from they're a kid. A lot of the guests I bring on are the same. They know what they wanted to do. But if you don't know what to do by 18, don't worry. People are in their 20s and 30s and still don't know what the hell they want to do with their life. It's really a case of, and if you can, and it's an option, spend your entire 20s and just go and learn as much shit as possible. Go and try everything. I mean, try photography, try acting, try ping pong, try piano. You don't even know, you might be an absolute genius at something you've never even tried before. And that might be what your actual passion in life is. And it's a case of, you don't need to know what you're going to do for the rest of your life when you're a teenager. Go out and learn and experience the world. And from that point on, then you'll have a foundation to at least make a very valid judgment on what you want to do for the rest of your life. But that's just my input. Do you agree?
100%, 100%. I like that. I mean, I've tried lots of different stuff in my life, and sometimes it's not pulled off. I mean, I've been to cooking schools. I've been to, you know, even getting into street dancing. You know, I've done photography. I've done video editing. I've done you know, Photoshop work. I've done this. I've done that, and you know, you never know. You're gonna have a lot of strings to your bow, and it's which bow you wanna pluck, really, innit? So. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely try loads of different stuff.
Exactly. Well, look, obviously, then for the people that are going to be listening in, that are interested in acting or interested to get into what you're doing, would you have tips for them people? How do you know get started, no matter what age they are, and how to really grind it out and start actually making moves?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, you know, you need to get into, you know, acting lessons. You need to get into acting classes. You need to experience it firsthand. You need to be surrounded by people with the same passion as you. And ultimately, what the acting industry is, it's very, 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 very difficult. But it's also very rewarding at the same time. I mean, what a lot of people do is they'll just get negged out. You know, they won't have the same passion for it once auditions do go wrong. I mean, I've been told no 2,000 times, and, you know, been told yeah, you know, 50 times. You know, and it's just about having that perseverance, having that grit to just keep going and going, and not even hope. Hope's a bit of a weak word. Faith, having faith, and being sure of yourself, and knowing that you're gonna get somewhere someday. Like I said, you've just got to be the best person that you can be in your craft, and then once the opportunity comes, you just got to make sure you smash it. So acting is hard, yeah, but it's a great industry, It's very rewarding, and you know, it's a great industry. So yeah, definitely get into acting lessons. You know, seek and search agents. You know, do little you know, show reels with different people. Maybe do, you know, university projects. Do short films. You know, just get involved with it as much as you can, because in this industry as well, it is very, very social. And you can do a lot of networking through, you know, different, you know, producers and directors and casting directors. So someone who you might think has just got a little project, in a few years, you know, they could have built up an incredible CV, and now they're on to bigger, better things and remember you. So, you know, it's just about doing as much stuff as possible, but without damaging your career and doing stuff that you might think, oh, should I? Just go with your gut, you know what I mean?
And you've never bothered to go near like the YouTube scene, have you? You've never bothered to go down that as like a straight route, no?
No, I haven't. No, to be fair, I don't know what I like. I like to just keep myself to myself in terms of that. Yeah, it is a social industry, and it is, you do need to network, but I've never really been the best at that, to be fair. I've trying different stuff. I just do what I do, and if you want me, you know, come and get me. You know, that's what I do.
No problem. I think that's, if you want, you come and get you. That's probably a good way to finish it off there. Any final words from yourself?
I mean, no, really, no. Just, you know, thanks for having me on. You know, it's been interesting and whatnot. Yeah, man, peace and love to everyone.
Awesome. Well, honestly, thank you for coming on the podcast, man. Guys, if you did enjoy the podcast, I know a lot of you had said you were waiting for it to come. Please drop a like, hit subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else, hit follow. It does mean a lot. It does help me out. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Next week as well is going to be another awesome podcast. I've got the release for the guest announcement coming up at the start of the week, and look out for that. But again, thank you, Mark. Appreciate you coming on, and we'll speak to you again soon. Have a good day, guys.
Hello guys, how you doing? It's me, Jack, mate. You've just finished watching probably one of the best videos on YouTube. So why not take a moment to consider subscribing? And if you haven't already, hit the like button and turn the notification bell on. Apparently it helps. I don't know how. It was good to know, wasn't it?